I hope everyone's having a good start to the week so far. I wanted to get the chance to talk about some events that unfolded over the weekend, but I also want to talk about President Biden's first week in office. So, first and foremost, we have to point out the fact that Democrats like to say that they were the party of anti-fascism, but nothing really says pro-fascism. Like, hey, I'm going to protect myself with thousands of troops that are heavily armed, and I'm going to put a barrier around myself so you can't get to me. Also funny how Democrats like to say that you and I can't own certain firearms, we can't have certain magazine capacities, but now suddenly they're in favor of those as long as they're used to protect them. Screams elitism to me, and nothing says, shut up you peasant, you're not allowed to defend yourself, again, like something like this particular photo. Moving on, you have President Biden signing an executive order talking about how we need to mandate masks on federal property, all while he takes pictures, well, maskless on federal property. Rules for thee, but not for me. This also comes at a time when he was tweeting throughout the whole shutdown how he was the one who was going to solve this particular crisis and you needed to elect him into office. But a couple days ago, he then said, there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of this particular virus and the infection rate. Sounds to me like he did some false advertising to win some votes, but hey, I digress. And last but not least, people decided it was a good idea to step in front of a car while they were on the streets. So newsflash, if you're watching this in the future and you want some good advice, well, don't go on the streets because that's where the cars are. But moving back to the first particular topic, I do want to talk about how Democrats will like to spin this and say, well, they needed to be protected from those extremist right-wingers that were going to try and overrun the Capitol and they were going to implement fascism. Well, first and foremost, I've already covered the events that unfolded on January 6th, and I don't condone what happened, but let's not be hyper-sensationalized and try and claim that it was a coup d'etat, because not for nothing, people that align with the Republican Party, they're the ones that are very, very pro-gun. So if it actually was an armed insurrection, you would have had thousands of people there that were armed to the teeth. And that obviously didn't happen. So quite clearly it wasn't an attempted coup. But moving forward, yes, could Democrats argue that they actually did need these protections because they felt in fear for their life? Maybe, but here's what I would argue. If you need troops to defend you from the public, and you need to set up a barrier to prevent people from going in or, trying to overrun where it is that you work, chances are you're not the good guy, right? Chances are you're doing something bad, but that's just my particular take. So you can let me know if you disagree with me on that one, but again, I always think it's funny pointing out double standards because we always hear for years and years how you can't have this, these high capacity magazines and you're going to do harm with it. You can't defend yourself, whatever it is, right? But now Democrats turn around, right? They spin the argument and now they say, well, we need these particular, safety measures. We're the ones that need to be protected, right? Because we're more important than you. That's what it kind of screams to me. But moving on to the second one, yeah. President Biden wanted to try and virtue signal and say, well, we need to change the trajectory. We need to lead by example. We need to mandate wearing masks on federal property. And I know someone's probably going to be like, he needs to take a picture without a mask, whatever it is. Shut up. Because, not for nothing. Rules for thee, but not for me. If you're going to say something, if he would actually live up to it, like if he truly does believe that you need to wear masks on federal property because he believes that it's something that can actually lower the infections or lower the spread of the virus, whatever it is, you name it, well, practice what you preach, dude. And is that fair for me to actually say, or am I now a bootlicker? Well, you know what, not for nothing. Literally, President Trump, our former president, he would breathe and Democrats would run campaigns and ads for months upon end talking about how he was going to make sure the world was done when he was, over and through his presidency. So you know what? How's this auditory mirror sound? I'm going to criticize everything this guy does and you get to realize what we went through these past 4 years. Is what it is. But moving forward, yeah, let's talk about this for a minute. President Biden, he liked to say when he was then just a candidate, how he was the one who had the plan, or he had an idea of how we could end this particular shutdown. We could get rid of this virus. So he gets sworn in, and now we're hearing, there's nothing we could do to change the trajectory. You don't say. It's almost like you lied to millions of people when you said you were the one with the plan and Donald Trump didn't have a plan. He also wanted to throw out there that they were inheriting nothing and they had to start from scratch. And believe it or not, Anthony Fauci, right? Dr. Fauci actually had to correct him and say, of course we have plans, right? Because, geez, that's what they worked on for months upon end under the Trump administration, whether you agree with it or not. But come on, let's be fair about these particular things. And yeah, I understand I might have been making a little bit of light of the situation, and I'm obviously not trying to advocate that everyone goes around and starts bashing each other in, but I covered this the other day, and I said how, however it unfolded and whatever your take is on a political side, it's kind of irrelevant because I'm trying to say, not for nothing, everyone said for months upon end, all the rioting, the protests, the destruction that happened in the summer of 2020 was because of President Trump. Well, now we're in Biden's America. So is this his fault? Obviously, the answer is no, because they're going to say, no, this is carryover from the previous administration. But that's BS because you can't try and swipe away all the negatives because you're going to be the first person to any positive that happens. You're going to be the one to say, see, this is what real leadership looks like. And I said before, you don't get to butter your bread on both sides. You're not allowed to. I'm not going to let you. But kind of moving forward, I think we can kind of agree, or at least trying to get you to agree with the fact that I don't think President Trump is the reason why everyone went absolutely nuts this past year. You could argue if it was the shutdowns, people that are out of work, etc., but not for nothing, the guy's gone and he's banned from social media. Like, he literally hasn't said anything since he left, right, when he gave his farewell address. So you can't try and pin this on him. So I think on an individual level, people are just absolutely insane. Like, if the first thought that comes to your mind is, okay, there's a cop coming to do whatever with a situation, whether you agree with it or not, but there's a cop car. If your immediate thought is, let's go surround the cop car, like, what are we doing? Again, whether you agree with the cause or not, like, if you think suddenly cops are just not going to show up because, oh, well, every time we do, we get surrounded and now the world's going to be a better place, like, no, that's going to embolden criminals. At the very least, when a cop car is coming through and it's got its sirens on, can you get out of the road? Like, do a little something, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy right now. I just don't, because, you kind of brought it upon yourself. And I know someone's probably going to be like, oh my God, he's siding with the police, he's a fascist, ah! But seriously, like, how many more times are we going to look at examples like this, and it's going to be like, is it really the cop's fault? Because not for nothing, if that guy got out of that car and tried to say, hey, can everyone listen to me? He probably would have got the crap kicked out of him, okay? So you kind of left him with no choice but to get out of that situation. I can't speak for whether people were actually trying to break into the car, but when you have, hundreds or at least dozens of people surrounding your car, I mean, I'm going to kind of freak out a little bit if I'm being honest. So what can we kind of do from here? This was the first weekend as having President Biden, and it doesn't really seem like the temperature, right, the tension is really going to go anywhere. That's just my particular take, but I think people are really just fed up with a whole lot of issues going on, and you could argue whether it's justified or not, but I don't see this tension or this temperature going away anytime soon. I just don't. So let me know if you think 2021 is going to I can't believe I'm laughing when I say it, but let me know if you think 2021 is going to be even worse than 2020, in the sense that you're going to see more unrest, you're going to see like more news stories that are just going to make you shake your head and go, man, are we really getting better? Because I'm going to be real with you, I kind of have my doubts if this country is actually going to move forward. I mean, we got rid of the orange man, but people are still going nuts, so I really don't see things getting better anytime soon. But let me know if you disagree with me, as always, and I appreciate you checking out the video, but I hope you'll be back again sometime soon.